So, hello everyone, and welcome to Doing Too Much with Grace. This is brought to you by Peace Theory Consulting, and I will be your presenter today, Jessica Bellinger. And I'm not going to take up very much of your time. We're only going to run about 45 minutes. But I wanted to go ahead and get everything started. Make sure that in the chat roll you sign up for our door prizes and our giveaways because that will be going on as we go through the rest of the message. So the reason why I wanted to do this one today is because this is actually the 6-year anniversary of years ago when I started a women's group called Journey Down Deep. And at that time, I really just wanted to go through and be better for myself. And I worked with a lot of women who thought the same way. So I wanted to start something for us, kind of like a women's support group. So today is the anniversary of 6 years from me starting that journey down deep. And here we are 6 years later, and we are doing these meetings under the umbrella of my own business. So today we're going to talk about doing too much with grace. So to get started, let's just say first off, that statement of girl, you doing too much, it is so disheartening to hear sometimes. It is an insult. It's never said with anything positive. It's usually said with a lot of negativity and a lot of disdain. And it's usually said when we are trying to really do a lot for ourselves. I've noticed, and maybe you have noticed in your life, it never seems to be too much when you're doing something for someone else so that you can support their dream. It's never too much when we're running behind the kids. It's never too much when we're having to do hours of overtime in our jobs. It's never too much when we are giving of ourselves all the times to other people. It only seems to be too much when we're trying to do something for ourselves. And I don't know about you, but for me, that is a serious problem because we can't just continue to give of ourselves to everyone else because that doesn't leave anything for me. That doesn't leave anything to build me up, to push me out of my comfort level, to encourage me and to be my joy. So we're going to talk in depth about this today. And I'm going to talk to you about how to do too much with grace. And that means we're going to embrace the fact that we do too much because as women, we do a lot every single day. We may have kids, you have jobs, you have businesses that you run, you have companies that you work for, there's events that you're doing, you're choir directing in church, or you're singing solos, you are volunteering for school, or you are doing stuff for classroom mom, you're working in the PTA. As women, we do a lot. So we should not allow these individuals to come in and talk to us about doing too much in such a negative manner and to make it something that it shouldn't be. So the main thing that we're going to cover today is how to start flipping the script and turning these insults on our character into validation of our purpose. We want to start flipping things on our head and we want to embrace the fact that we're doing too much. And instead of it becoming an insult, we want to keep these things being a compliment to ourselves. So I have put a question out here and it says, have you experienced shaming like this before? Because let's be honest, when someone in the outside comes in and they are talking really freely into your life and what it is you're doing, that's an insult. That is bullying. That is shaming. And we have all went through it, mom shaming, employee shaming. So I want to know, have you experienced this kind of shaming in your life? And if you have, who have you experienced it from? And while you all are typing in the chat box, I'm going to give you just a brief story that I experienced myself, and it was from my grandmother. So a few years ago, I went to visit my mom and my grandmother. I had my boys with me, and it was right about 6:30. And my grandmother looks at me and she says, baby, don't you think you need to be getting home so you can cook for your husband? And I was kind of taken back a little bit. So I paused. This is my grandmother. So I paused for a second and I looked at my grandmother, who I absolutely love and adore. And I said, well, Granny, my husband can cook better than I can. And then I turned around and I went back to talking to my mother. But that kind of stuck with me because I felt like my grandmother was very slightly on the sly, throwing a little shade my way because I was not at home making sure that my husband had a hot meal when he got off. And I'm like, this man cooks better than I do, number one. And number two, I'm here visiting you all. Number three, this marriage that I have is a 50-50. I don't have to be the wife at home making sure dinner is on the table. He works and I work. So we try to make this a 50-50 situation. So, but that was my story about how my grandmother just slightly mom shamed me and wife shamed me years ago because at 6:30 at night I was there visiting her and my mom instead of being at home making sure my husband had a hot meal. And that was a bit frustrating. So we go through these things all of the time, and especially because we live in this world of social media, it really gets bad. It really gets interesting where people just feel like they can step into your life and they can put their 2 cents in. And they can hide behind usernames or they can hide behind a post. And that's not okay. And we have to stop allowing people to come in and do us like this and allow for them to come in and make us feel less than because we're trying to do for ourselves. But we also have to understand that in that time of trying to do for yourself, do for others, you have to do for yourself. So if there's goals that you want to meet, if there are dreams that you want to achieve, you need to be going for it. And it's okay for you to want to live your dreams instead of just continuing to push on helping everyone else support and build their dreams. So we're going to go on. So next thing I want to talk to you about is stop believing the lies. And in our life, we really do believe the lies. We create lies for ourselves. We let other people come in and start telling us what we should and shouldn't be doing, or we allow people to come in and throw negativity and shade into what we're doing. And then we slowly start to let that cycle in our minds, and it becomes part of who we are. And it becomes a lie, and we start to believe the lie. So our picture on the slide says sometimes our thoughts are backed so much by insecurity that they create lies we believe. And that, honestly, it is the truth. A lot of the reason why that statement of, girl, you doing too much, a lot of the reason why that bothers us so much is because we do have some deep-seated insecurities about either the type of employee we are, or the type of mom we are, or the type of wife we are. So those statements feed into that insecurity, and it makes us really do start to say, you know what, they're right. I shouldn't be trying to start that catering business right now while my kids are in school because I really should be giving time to my kids. Or, you know what, I really shouldn't be trying to do this business because that takes away time from my family. Let's be honest. Everything we do takes away time from our family. Everything we do has some kind of impact on our family, whether it is positive or negative. But let me tell you the truth today, ladies. If you are working on yourself to stretch your boundaries, to get out of your comfort zone, that is a good thing. You should not feel bad about that. That is not a negative thing, because when you are fulfilled, when you are encouraged in your life, you can push that encouragement on to others. When you're trying to meet your goals, your kids are seeing you working to meet your goals, and they start picking that up. Your spouse sees that, your significant other, your friends, your family, and they start wanting to join in on the journey with you, or they start wanting to build better in their lives. So it's not a negative thing to want to do more for ourselves, but society has made us believe this way. And the reason why society makes us believe this way is because the majority of people who are telling you, girl, you're doing too much, they're not doing enough. They're not pushing outside their boundaries. They are bitter. They are spiteful, and they are trying any way, shape, or form to drag everyone else down with them. They're not happy. So they want to be surrounded by a lot of people who are unhappy. And we have to stop allowing those bitter people to come in and make us feel less than. But I also want to draw your attention back to the point that we're making in the picture and the quote that says sometimes our thoughts are backed by so much insecurity that they create lies we believe. It's really insecurities that start to chip away at who we are. And those insecurities, a lot of times, and I'm going to go on a limb and say 99.97% of the time, those insecurities are not something that is truly true about ourselves. It's something that we have come to believe. I used to be insecure about the fact that I was short. There is nothing I can do about being short. So what I had to do is I had to learn how to take that insecurity and flip it on its head and to change my thought process from that being something that I should be insecure about into something that I should be secure in. Because an insecurity is truly something that we have just twisted and made to be a negative thing instead of twisting it back in the other way and putting it back in its correct place of we need to be secure in our abilities to get things done. We need to be secure in the person that we are. We need to be secure in the dreams that we want to achieve. And we have to get rid of these insecurities because they don't serve us. Okay. So what I want to ask you now is what are the insecurity lies that you have believed about yourself? I know I have believed so many insecurity lies. I have believed that I did not have anything to really offer the world and say in regards to wanting to be this type of business owner. I have believed that I was unworthy of stepping into certain positions and jobs because maybe I didn't have a master's degree or I didn't have the politically correct speech that we always so often try to portray. I felt insecure about so many things in my life. And what I found is as I continued to say, okay, that's not okay to be insecure about. There are all kind of people in the world. There are all kind of people who do all kind of different things. These are my strengths. These are the things that I am secure in. And all of these things will aid me in moving forward. So I stopped being insecure. I stopped letting that stop me from being who I wanted to be. And it's not about who you're meant to be. It's about who you want to be. And you cannot let lies and insecurity stop you from that. So what lies have you believed in your life that have stopped you from going towards the goals that you want to achieve or stopped you from applying for the job that you have shown interest in or that have stopped you from wanting to run for PTA president? And I want you to think about those, and I want you to start twisting your mind back into the right side because an insecurity has been twisted wrong, and we need to twist it back and turn those insecurities into something to be secure in. So next, we're going to go on and we're going to get to the meat and bread about what we're talking about today. And we know our topic is about doing things with grace, doing too much with grace. So what do I mean by grace? Well, grace is truly defined as simple elegance or refinement of movement. And our picture shows that it says saved by grace. And that is really what this whole presentation is about. It's about allowing a little bit of grace in our lives for ourselves. We always allow grace for other people. And how do I know this? Because you have people in your life who feel like they can shame you. They feel like they can come to you and say, I don't think you should be doing that. Or have you thought about that? Do you really think you're capable of doing this? Is this something that you really want to go after? And when we listen to that and we let those people come in like they are truly talking to us and have the right, excuse me, to have input in our lives, that's a problem. And we are allowing those negative people, those bitter people, too much grace in our lives. And we have to shift that focus. We give other people so much grace. We allow them to hurt us. We allow them to take advantage of us. We allow them to step in and talk to us in ways that we wouldn't allow our moms or our spouses to talk to us. But we give other people that grace. And we have to stop that. So, since grace is defined as simple elegance and refinement of movements, then we have to learn how to have simple elegance in our lives. We have to learn how to refine the movement in our lives so that we can reach where we want to go to. But we also have to allow grace in our lives for ourselves. There are going to be times that we're going to be fearful of things. There is going to be times when we are going to want to stop instead of move forward because there's obstacles ahead of us that we have never, ever been able to see before. There are going to be times when we are going to question the goals that we have and if we really truly can achieve it. And instead of stopping, instead of letting it make us quit, instead of allowing it to become a failure in our lives, we have to save ourselves by grace. We have to allow a little bit of grace in our lives for us to make mistakes, for us to change our minds, and for us to want to build more than what we have now. If we don't give ourselves that grace, then why are we allowing other people to come in and talk negatively to us and make us feel less than when we should be saving ourselves by grace and speaking life into our lives and not death? And that's exactly what I mean, because when you don't speak positively to yourself, you are killing your motivation, you are killing your dreams, you are killing any hopes of wanting to achieve more and to be better and to encourage yourself. So we have to stop allowing all of that grace to be for other people and start putting that grace on ourselves so that we can push ourselves forward. I came across this amazing quote as I was building this presentation, Doing Too Much with Grace, and the quote is, anyone can exist. Most fools do. It takes guts to truly live. And I didn't find who it was written by, but it is an amazing quote that really lets you know that majority of the people who are speaking that negative into your life, the majority of people who are coming to you and saying, girl, honey, you doing too much. They're saying that because they are just existing in life and it is bothering them. It is eating at them that you are wanting to do more and that you are able of achieving all of the things that you have achieved so far. And they are just barely existing in life. They are sitting in a boat, they have no oars, and they are just going with the course and the flow of the current. And that is not what you're doing. So that's why they want to come to you and they want to stop you from moving forward. Most fools exist, but it takes guts to truly live. It takes guts to allow yourself grace in your life. It takes guts to stop believing the lies of insecurity and start turning it on its head so that you can turn those insecurities into something that you can be secure in. It takes guts to start changing this girl, you doing too much insult on your character into a validation of your purpose. And that's what it is. That's what those people are coming in to do. They are coming in to stop you from moving towards and achieving your purpose. And we cannot allow that any longer. So I have another question for you all. And the question is, where can you add grace to your life? Where are those things that you have wanted to do or wanted to achieve or have even wanted to stop doing? Maybe we're doing too much for other people, which isn't allowing time for us to do stuff for ourselves. So where in your life can you find some areas that you can allow yourself a bit more grace? So I'll give you an example in my life. I have had to allow myself a bit more grace in my job and my function as a mom. There have been times when I have felt like I was the worst parent ever. And what I had to learn is that everybody parents their children differently. All children are differently. And as Jada Pickett said so wonderfully in her Red Table Talk, it's our kids that show us how to parent them. So I had to allow myself a little grace and say, okay, I am not my mom. I am not my grandmother. That is not the way that I want to parent, or there are some new things that I want to add into my parenting repertoire. So let me give myself a little grace on this. And when I did that, it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. And I feel like I have become a much better parent because I have allowed myself grace. There's going to be times that I'm going to fail as a parent. We all do. That's where being saved by grace comes in because we all fail. No one does this thing perfectly. We can truly believe that there are super moms out there who can do it all. They run a business, they run their kids back and forth to football and volleyball and gymnastics and ballet. They take their own classes and courses and they have wine nights with all of their friends. And that's great for them. But I tell you, there are places in their lives that they are having to allow themselves a little bit more grace, or where even they should be allowing themselves some grace and maybe stop doing so much for other people and start putting more into themselves. So we are at 2:24. I have really enjoyed going through this Doing Too Much presentation with you. And I want to just kind of go back and wrap up some information and to just allow you to reabsorb the information that we have talked about. So first, that girl, you doing too much is a form of insult. It is a negative way to view the things that you are doing in your life when you are trying to do more than just exist in life, as most fools do. So we want to start changing that conversation on that girl, you're doing too much, because it's okay to do too much. It is okay to want to reach for the stars. And we have to start again changing that mentality from this statement of girl, you doing too much, from being an insult to being validation of our purpose. Because when you have people who are coming in and telling you you're doing too much, or you should rethink that, or why are you trying to do that? Don't you think you're too old for that? When you have those people who are coming in and making those statements, that should give you validation of purpose, because they're noticing that you're doing more than existing in this life. They're noticing that you're doing more than them in this life. And that should give you validation. It should not be an insult to you. We talked about believing the lies. And that is really bad because we believe those lies because it hits a level in us, in an insecurity that is deep down, an insecurity about whether you're a good mom, an insecurity about whether you deserve that promotion. It gives you an insult on everything that you're doing. And we don't want you to feel insulted by what you have going on. We want you to be validated in your purpose. So we want to start changing those insecurities to being something that we're secure in. We talked about grace defined and that we all need to be saved by grace, and how grace is not really, it isn't something that we should be scared of. It is something that we should embrace because we all have failures. We all have things that we have done. We all have things that we want to do. And we have to allow ourselves a little grace in our lives in order to do those things. You're not going to be the perfect parent all the time. You're not going to be the perfect employee all the time. But you can't let those little small failures or those little small obstacles in your life stop you from wanting to hit that next level. Grace defined is simple elegance or refinement of movement. So we have to use that elegance and that refinement of movement to keep going. And we also have to stop allowing so much grace for other people in our lives when they feel like they can come in and start making us feel less than. We have to stop that at the door. No, I'm not accepting your negativity today. I am going to keep pushing and keep moving towards the things that I want to achieve in my life. So, as we're going to go on, I want to thank you for attending the event today. There is going to be a survey posted for the event, so you can tell me how you enjoyed it. There is also going to be a link in there for you to enter to win a wonderful door prize and some giveaways as we go through. I want you to check out our Facebook page for other upcoming events, because this is something that I am going to continue to do. So I'm going to give you just a little background. Doing Too Much with Grace is one of the first big events that I have done under the umbrella of my business, Peace Theory Consulting. And today is a 6-year anniversary of when I started a women's group years ago called Journey Down Deep. And I started that women's group because I wanted to surround myself with other women who were looking to push forward, who wanted to do a little bit more, and that could add some grace to my life and to also help me build, because we know that iron sharpens iron. So 6 years ago, I created an amazing program for myself to get my life in order called Journey Down Deep. And what that was at the time was an action plan that I created for myself. It included different principles as far as taking time for yourself, as far as personal faithfulness, which is about putting into yourself. Because if you don't be faithful to yourself, you can't put faithfulness into other things. I am the person who decides what it is that I'm going to apply my faithfulness to. I'm the person who has to carry that through. So it's not really about faithfulness to the things that we do. It's about faithfulness to ourselves and what we want to do. So I started this women's group 6 years ago, and we met once a month at our local community college here in Tyler, and it would be a 2-hour event. We would have food and all of this stuff, and we would have women coming in, and we would have full-on discussions about whatever the topic was for that month. And I loved doing those events. And then after about a year, the job that I had, the workload got to be truly excessive, and I had to put my Journey Down Deep events on hold. And it really hurt me to have to do that. But when you are working 10 hours a day, having to go in every Saturday, it doesn't leave a lot of extra time to add in some other things that you want to do. So I put Journey Down Deep on hold. And then 3 years ago, I walked away from that job that was taking so much out of me and wasn't putting back into me. It wasn't empowering. I didn't allow myself to move with grace or any elegance in that job, because it just sucked the life out of what I wanted to do. And I started my own business of Peace Theory Consulting. And after starting my own business and leaving that job, I never looked back. Where I have went from 6 years ago when Journey Down Deep was a women's group, 3 years ago when I walked away from that job and started my own company because I wanted to do something big for myself, and then to now when here we are on the anniversary of me starting that group, that I'm having another event. And I'm offering all of this stuff because I really want to speak life into other women, because there have been so many amazing women that have spoke life into me. So I want to offer you all an opportunity to use the same thing that I used to take myself from 6 years ago when I could not see the forest for the trees, into where I am now, where I have started my own business. I have my own spa products line. I do a lot of stuff, and I do it with so much grace because it's something that I want to do, and it is fulfilling to me. So I want you all to fill out the survey. I want you all to sign up for the door prizes, because I am going to be giving away a copy of Journey Down Deep. And this is our flagship program that I created from all of the things that I have done in my life to build myself to the point where I can move through this life trying to do too much with grace. It is an amazing video program. It is about an hour long, and it comes with some really great templates that will help you decrease stress in your life, identify areas of stress, give yourself a reality check. That is one of the templates. I love that template. It's actually my favorite. And all of the principles of Journey Down Deep are things that I still continue to use to this day. So it didn't just get me from 6 years ago to 3 years ago when I walked away from my job and started my own company. It's continued to be what I now support my life with, so that I can keep moving forward and keep reaching for those bigger and better dreams as I go forward. So I'm going to be giving away a copy of this program along with some amazing products that I create in our spa products line. So we're going to be offering our Morning Glory Body Scrub. I love this. It is made with coffee, oatmeal, and olive oil, raw sugar. I use it once a week on my face to exfoliate it. It is one of my favorites, and it is super good. It has a caffeine in it, so that's going to be great for your skin. And I am also going to be giving away one of our whipped body butters. Now, this one is good. It's going to be great going into this time of the year when our skin is going to be extra dry. So I'm going to be giving away these three things. So please fill out the form so that you can enter to win. And once you fill that form out, I'm going to be posting the winners onto our Facebook page. So you can go to the Facebook page and see who won the giveaways. And also, I want you to visit our Facebook page, which is under Peace Theory, because I want you all to sign up, like our page, follow it, because I'm going to start doing events like this once a month. I'm going to re-embrace that journey down deep mindset that I had years ago about that wanting to surround myself with women who are wanting to go to that next level and do a little bit more. And I'm going to be posting events and videos consistently, because if we don't start building ourselves up, we're going to slowly start to just disappear. And as women, we can't disappear because we are the backbone of this entire country, of the whole human race. So we have to push ourselves forward because we are one of the role models for the next generation coming up. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, I started this 6 years ago. And I said today, I was like, you know what? I just realized today, honestly, that it was the 6-year anniversary of me starting those women groups all the way back then. And I was like, 6 years later, what was just a women's group, I have turned into a complete online program. And it just seemed very full circle. It's like God had a little laugh this morning when I was getting ready to run some errands. And he was like, excuse me, you know, this is the anniversary. And I was like, oh, all right now. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing this every month because I don't want to take up a lot of women's time. I don't want to take up a lot of y'all's money and gas and having to go places and take away from your families. But if we can sit down and watch episodes of movies, if we can sit down and watch episodes of TV shows or stuff on YouTube, we can sit down for 45 minutes and pour a little life and speak a little grace into the lives of all of the women that are surrounding us so that we can push forward to be a little bit better than we are. But until later, bye, darling.